Hello and welcome to the first installment of my monthly video newsletter. I'm Brian McDonough with the Dawson Rivera team at Compass here in New York City, and we're kicking this one off at one of our listings, 30 Main Street in Dumbo, apartment 5B. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, almost 1,900 square feet, 11-foot ceilings, really insane views in the Manhattan Bridge. That's asking $2,995. All right, enough of the shameless plug. Let's jump in to the market update. Kicking it off with Manhattan, we really saw the buying spree continue right into 2022 for a cluster of different factors. You have the inevitable rise of interest rates, you have a desire for more space, you have the escalation of rent prices up almost 40% year over year, and you also have the return of the pied-à-terre buyer, all having a significant impact to kick off 2022. Condo and co-op sales were up 36% year over year. Inventory remained extremely tight, down 17%, but we did have a record-setting $7 billion in overall sales volume to start off the year. So no doubt the demand and the need was there to kick off 2022 in Manhattan. We may be seeing somewhat of a pause and/or a cool down happening in certain submarkets of Manhattan. As of most recently at the end of April or early May, co-op signings were down about 6% year over year, and condos were down about 0.6. However, 0.6 and 6%, both very minimal decreases and or cooling periods, and it's also not showing to be a trend. In general, we are seeing a very active market. However, due to the obvious external factors, there might be some kind of nervousness and or a bit of a pause happening across the city, but in general, a very healthy and active market continuing into the second quarter of 2022 in Manhattan. On to Brooklyn, which remains extremely red hot. If you look at the month's supply, which is the total months it would take to sell all listing inventory at the current sales rate, that was most recently sitting at just under 2.5%, which is 23% faster than last year and almost 2 times faster than the decade norm of about 4.5 months to start off a year. It would take a significant amount of inventory in Brooklyn for things to change. And that's in these, what we would consider almost the recession-proof neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Fort Greene, Park Slope, Brooklyn Heights, Williamsburg, the neighborhoods that you would expect. So again, things are not cooling off in Brooklyn whatsoever, and I don't think we see that happening anytime soon. So where do we go from here? Of course, we're seeing and have seen the inevitable rise of interest rates over the past several months and weeks. But it does take a bit of perspective. It wasn't that long ago that after the 2016 presidential election, as we got into 2018 and 19, we saw interest rates hit at about 5.3% at their peak. On top of that, if we look at historical levels, an interest rate between 5 and 6% is historically low. We are not at the 2.25% that we saw during the pandemic, but that was abnormal. So it's time maybe that we start focusing on normalizing and getting a little bit more comfortable with where we are at this stage. On top of that, data also shows that the next big wave of first-time homebuyers is happening now and for years to come. The cohort of millennials under the age of 34, which is considered to be the peak home buying age, is absolutely massive. It's actually bigger than the baby boomers. So at this moment, the demand is there and will continue to be there for that demographic. And on top of that, we're at the forefront of potentially the biggest home buying boom to ever happen. We are hitting the summer months where of course we may see somewhat of a cool down for the typical reasons. The nervousness and the fluctuation of the stock market is expected. Some pauses may be happening, but in general, it is still a very active and dynamic market. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I wish you all an absolute lovely summer, and I look forward to talking to you soon.